guys and dolls. So, I just posted something. If that is in fact the name brand of those little thigh high boots, uh, that would be pretty incredible. 'Cause that's a landmark gold mine jackpot. It's a winner hit that I got at the bins today. Only on a feeling. Because they didn't find the other boot till later. But uh, because I know leather real well and stuff like that, but and I really believe them to be leather, but especially as heavy as they were, and they were pretty nice shape. I believe that I can clean them up and not even have to retouch the toes on them or anything. Um, but it's a special process with suede. I learned that when I worked at Leatherbound LTD in the Valley in California. Um, but did you see that post I just made about those boots? If that is in fact the brand I said in the vlog, um, you need to let me know because there's a listing of them for over $1,000 new, and there's several listings on the internet on the reseller sites that are very high. It looked like most of them like 400 to 700. A few lowball ones, probably just to get that money. Which you really shouldn't lowball yourself unless you're totally desperate. You need to make your money. But I got to tell you, that is pretty amazing. That still, even though that could resell for a lot of money, the thing is that I just really hated it. I really don't care for the bins. It is just not my way of shopping. But it would be nice if, I could recoup that kind of money out of that trip. Because, like I say, it was like a 2 hour drive down there, 2 hour drive back. And probably, $30, $40 in fuel. That was one of my biggest gripes because, I've had so many people tell me, God, if you just made one trip to the bins, you would love it. It would make you so much money. And it's just like, how do you know? My biggest problem with it to begin with was, the time to go there. The drive is quite a ways. I got two choices, Picola or Panama. I do not like Picola. It is really creepy dangerous day or night now. It used to be real creepy dangerous when the night fell years ago when I worked down there a lot for years. But and where this is at in Panama, it's in old Panama out by Callaway and Springfield. And so it wasn't like totally dangerous at the location it's at. Actually, that's a real bad area, especially at night. It's about 2 blocks from the old Bambi's club. And I used to know the guy that owned that and everything. And I used to dress entertainers there years ago. Um, and which that club used to be called the Silver Saddle before it was purchased and then renamed Bambi's and became Gentleman's Club of all entertainment kind of thing. That guy is long since dead, and it apparently is still open. Um, I went there after he died, and somebody else bought it, and I knew a couple of managers went down to run it at one point, but I just wasn't really excited the last time I went there. It was very gangster kind of club. And even though I knew some of the door guys there, and I was very safe inside the club, and they would walk me out, and I would tip them and everything. Um, it just was a bit much for me. But um, yeah, it's just such a long ride. Now the girl that worked there at the bins today that I talked with for about 15 minutes, she was really nice, very friendly, and full of great information for me. Being especially since it's the first time I was there. Um, and she had told me she had been to the bins in Mobile and absolutely hated it. She said it wasn't worth nothing going there. She didn't like the area that it was in at all, really super creepy. And she said she really didn't find anything that great there. Um, and that it was just, a mob. Now, I've seen some YouTube vlogs from Donna Bonatello or Bonatelli or whatever her name is on YouTube. And she does these weird little live auction things on YouTube. Dirt cheap for all kinds of jewelry and stuff like that she buys at estate sales and buy stuff at bins. And she did a couple vlogs about bins, and she would take like one or two of her daughters with her. Mother of God, the bins down there around the Tampa area, and I mean their bins are like legit bins. They're like dumpster size in plastic, and they bring them out with like forklifts and set them down on the floor. Um, and I mean, it's just really hard to get the stuff in there, and they just pile every kind of thing in there. I mean, it's not like it's sorted out where this one's purses and this one's clothes, or this one's kids' clothes, or this one's toys. There's just all kinds of stuff piled in there in every bin. And they don't like you videotaping in there at all. Um, um, and, you know, that would be kind of a different kind of thing. That one you would really probably need to go really early in the morning to get the best deals. Um, and I think their prices are cheaper by the pound over there. But again, I just, ooh, yeah, I would, I mean, if I could tolerate just going and walking around and like eyeballing stuff that people are throwing around in there and reach over and look at something and say, that would be good. That would be a better thing for me. But otherwise, that digging through all that stinky stuff and, um, the smells of some of this stuff, if they would spray it with Lysol, before they put it on the floor, and I think that would help really a lot to take a lot of that stench out of those clothes. Because there are some of the clothes that, still have price tags on them and everything. They're like, brand new. And still, even with stuff like that, it's so hard to get bad smells out of them. You'd probably have to be spraying them down for months before you could get the smell out of them. Because you really would rather not wash them because it devaluates them. And then you have to take the tags off and all that because now it's not new, it's basically used. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that would be really funny if those boots, if that's in fact the name of those boots, and that's the value set on those boots, um, for retail and resale at used, that is unreal. I mean, I would feel better about that trip just for that one item, if that's true. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind all the stuff I got, which I only did a part one so far. It was getting so late, and I was going to do the second vlog, but I still had, half as much stuff again because I split it about in half, unloading it out of the car, and did the first vlog. And then, I thought I wouldn't have that much when I went back to the car to get the other stuff to do the part two of the bins, and it was still just as much as the first load. So I said, well, I'll just lock it up and then we'll do it tomorrow, and so that you guys can see entirely what I got. But I mean, I definitely got my money's worth. I have no doubt in my mind. Um, and if in fact those boots are that value and that's the right name that was on that boot and everything, which I don't have them with me to look at it and make sure. Um, but it's in that part one vlog. If that's in fact the name that was on those boots, I just had a feeling to buy them. Um, and and because of the name for some reason, and then um, because of the way they were made, you know, and the condition they were in. I'm not a big fan of used shoes and boots because I do not like to work on them. Like a lot of people like to do used tennis shoes and big name brand tennis shoes, and wash them and scrub them and toothbrush them and do all this stuff to them and all that. And I just really don't have an interest in all that. I don't. There's too much work. That's hourly time going into it. That's more supplies to clean them with, and it's reducing what you're going to make out of them. So it's to me it's really a waste of valuable time. um but yeah, so that ought to be interesting if that's in fact those boots. But do check the posting that I did on the community post, which I believe that is those boots. um Pretty incredible. But all in all, it was you know nice to take a trip. Would have liked to have stayed longer. Um, the smell was so bad in the car from that stuff. Ugh. I was hoping to get back in time to try to catch a washateria and wash at least part of that stuff because the smell was putrid. Because, the faster I get them clean, the faster I can list them and resell them and get my money back. But, yeah. So, that didn't happen. It was too late by the time I got in town. I did stop at Walmart Sandusky on the way back. Tiny little Walmart. And they were slammed full of people. The whole parking lot was slammed. And it was going to be problematic to even check out. I went in to go to the loo because I had to go really, really, really bad. And I had to wait to go in the loo with three other ladies. Um, and while doing the pee-pee dance. And two of us were actually doing the pee-pee dance. Really had to go. And I was hoping to go in and get, a little sale sandwich or something over there to eat on the way back because I didn't eat really anything at all today. I drank like 4 cappuccinos to try to be alive and all that stuff. But it wasn't as hard a job today at Ben's that I thought it would be, having to research stuff endlessly or anything like that. I think I looked like 3 times on my phone into eBay for sell-throughs and stuff. I just kind of followed my heart, and um, there was really a lot of junk there too, and strange things too. Um, it was just kind of very overwhelming, but it was nicely done the way they do it. Um, there was probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 8 rows of those big long tables, and then there was like probably 3 rows in the back of tables that were like, purses, electronics, uh, kind of luggagey items, lots of backpacks, um, and then 2 tables with shoes and boots on them. There's one guy that walked out with a really nice cooler. I've got two of those coolers that I use for DoorDash. They're really expensive coolers. And I went into Walmart one day and they had a humongous sale on them. Or they marked them wrong, some darn thing, and I got them dirt cheap. They were like 60 or 80 bucks new. And so I had bought like three or four of them, and one for a giveaway online, and then one I was going to resell. But they work really well. But the guy found one just like the one I have, but not in white, and it was like brand new. And it doesn't weigh that much, and so he made out like bacon when he bought that sucker. I said, that is one of the best cooler bags. I'm serious. I mean, you could carry ice cream in this thing. It's really, really good cooler bag. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, that is a landmark buy right there. Um, so, I mean, it was interesting. I just don't know that I would go again. It's too much time and way too much digging it through stuff, the smells. Um, but, most of the customers were really nice and polite. Couple of bad kids. And then the two checkers were wonderful. I did see, some people that would just throw stuff. They would pick something up, throw it. Pick it up, throw it. And it was like, man, why are you doing that to the merchandise? Some people just don't know how to act. But it was definitely interesting. But we'll know more tomorrow. Because it'll be interesting for me to research those boots. Too bad they're not like totally ready to sell, because I won't sell them like that. They have to be about 100% perfect. Again, like I say, I don't like stuff that's in bad shape. A lot of sellers will sell it like that. They don't care if it's got defects in it of any kind. But I just don't want it. I'm afraid it'll be too problematic and people want to return it. Even if you declare it. I just don't want to sell stuff like that. Um, now if it's ripped up stuff that's supposed to be ripped up and all that, and I was a big fan of that stuff, then that's another kind of story. I am not a big fan of all that trashed up type of clothes. Although I had two pairs like that I got only because of the name brands. I thought they might do well. But other than that, wait till you see part two of the blog of what I got at the bins. Because those were some really interesting pieces, and some brands that I know that have really high resale value. But I mean, still, I could have had every item $50 not resale value, but I just don't like the bins. I don't. And I was lucky that people weren't going nuts over in there and fighting and beating each other up over new tables coming out, or or super rude. Just one lady was just insanely stupidly rude for no reason at all. If you'd caught me about 30 years ago, I'd have given you a free attitude adjustment, very simply. She was really foul. But other than that, I mean, the people that worked there were wonderful, and 99% of the customers were really nice and polite. And so, it was interesting. It was a learning experience. At least I can say, okay, I did it. But again, I still have a problem with the time to drive to it and the fuel. That's right off the top. If you figure your hourly wage and then the fuel, that comes right off the top. So, you have to figure your line of profit, and I don't know that, if I go to another bins that I would want to deal with all that. And, I may one day, I've always wanted to go to the main, like, Goodwill one that's like the biggest in the States, I think, is Birmingham. For years and years and years, I've always wanted to go to that. Um, but, maybe one day I'll check that out. But I've talked about that for so many years, um, and never, had a chance to go do it because I was so busy working around the States for years. I just didn't have time to stop and do it. And, when I was on the road a lot, I used to even ship my dirty clothes home. If I got held over by popular demand, had to go to some other states and dress people because I would get called all over the place. Um, I would literally like get a big box and pack like my dirty clothes and ship them home. No lie. And I would buy more clothes on the road. And then stuff that I would buy along the road on my trips and stuff because I didn't want to keep it in the car and get it ripped off. I would pack that stuff up and ship it home too, and I'd ship it out to Doc Berry's shop, a very dear friend of mine that was also my chiropractor. So when I came home, it was like Christmas all the time because I'd have boxes and boxes of stuff. I was going through Oklahoma one time, stopped at some secondhand store, Goodwill or Salvation Army, something, and they had miles and miles of beautiful fabric. And I just bought every single thing out, filled that Cadillac up to the roof. Oh my gosh. And I immediately went down to the post office and got boxes and shipped it home so that I would have room in the car. Um, yeah, I used to do that all the time. So, because it's a pain in the butt carrying any more than you need on the road. So, yeah, so it was interesting. I would have liked to have stayed to have something new. I was really excited going, there's some of the greatest places to eat over here, and I should have gone, and I didn't. I was waiting on a call from my friends, and was going to take a ride up to Bama since I was kind of near there, and never got a response, so I didn't go, um, and I had to double back all the way back to my office. And it was like, oh, I got to drive all the way back. Um, but it was interesting. It was an excursion, and yeah, it's better than my everyday routine. I don't go many places, but anyway, I just work, work, work. So it was an interesting day. I mean, I learned something new, tried something new, um, and at least I could say I had that experience. But again, it's just not my cup of tea. I know people just really love that and live off of that, but man, I just, I'd rather do it the way I do it. I have one store that I go to where everything is like $1 to $2 anyway, and I go through there often when I get a chance, and I blaze through there, and I might be there, 15 minutes. I might be there an hour. That's it. That's it. That's all she wrote, because I know, how fast I can get to that store, what I'm looking for, um, and that's what I do. Uh, and then I've got, a couple other stores that I like to go to if I get time. I have another very favorite store, and everything's around $5. Sometimes I can catch it on a discount sale. Um, and I'll go through there and find some good high-end products. But that I find constantly over there because I know what to look for. But there's other stuff I'm searching for too that I learned about. Something called figs, which is like the nursing clothes. Doctor suits, nursing clothes made by figs. Those are very, very, very expensive and have a very high retail rate for used. And I'd love to pick up some of those. You're talking around, $30 to $50 used per piece, um, retail. So that's kind of cool. So I've got to watch for that. And I do know a place that's got tons and tons of that nursing clothes that's in another state that it still exists. I was down there recently, and hopefully I can get back over there and check that out and see what all she has that she's carrying over there, because I might catch some of those over there. But anyway, so it was an interesting day, and I hope you guys enjoyed what I put up so far. And I'll be back soon with part two. It won't be tonight, but part two of the Ben's haul. But I mean, it's definitely an experience. You know, you should check it out. You know, it might be something you really dig. Um, they don't have a ton of them all over the states. There's a lot of them in the state of Florida, though. Um, but um, you know, if you have a family or lots of kids or whatever, uh, or your spouse is in construction or whatever kind of job work, it would be very beneficial for you to go there. Um, they have lots and lots of jeans and neat T-shirts. I mean, there is like 4 T-shirts I probably should have bought. They were pretty cool. They had one with a pirate on it. It was really interesting, pirate skeleton thing. Um, they had some really interesting stuff that I probably should have went ahead and bought, because they wouldn't have been that expensive, because it's by the pound. But your clothes and shoes was the most expensive price. I think it was $1.79 a pound, and then most of the other stuff was about 79 cents a pound. The weighing thing was kind of weird, because the tier read 1.79, supposedly with a basket on it, but when you added stuff to it, it didn't look like it was minusing that off. It looked like that was the beginning charge. So, because it should have shown 0 for you to start, but apparently not. Um, so, I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and thanks for hanging out with me today. It was a slice of heaven. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and we'll catch you in the next one. Love everybody, and do something kind for a stranger.